The ocean speaks in rhythms we often fail to hear. Its waves crash against the shore, relentless, unyielding, as though they carry ancient messages meant for us. Messages we ignore, just as we ignore the quiet stirrings of our own soul. Yet those waves never stop. They keep coming, urging us to listen, to feel, to awaken. Much like the ocean's endless dance, our shadow calls to us, not with violence, but with purpose. It rises and falls within us, mirroring the tides, persistent and unyielding, waiting to be acknowledged. Your shadow is not an enemy lurking in the dark corners of your being. It is a force, a truth, a reflection of all that you have cast aside in your attempt to survive in a world that demands perfection. You were not born afraid of your shadow. You were taught to fear it. You were taught to believe that what lies in the darkness is unworthy of love, unworthy of light. And so you buried it. But the shadow does not disappear. It festers. It lingers in the cracks of your heart, in the places you thought you had sealed shut. It becomes the undercurrent in your life, the pull beneath your surface that leaves you feeling adrift. You sense it when you're restless, when you're stuck, when life feels heavy in ways you cannot explain. The shadow isn't hiding from you. You are hiding from it. How often have you felt that weight in your chest, that unshakable feeling that something is missing, something is wrong? You push it aside, numbing yourself with distractions, social media, work, relationships that only offer fleeting escapes. You tell yourself it's just a phase, that you'll feel better soon. But the ache remains, growing louder with every moment you refuse to acknowledge it. That is your shadow speaking. It whispers through your discomfort, your sadness, your anger. It speaks through the patterns that you can't seem to break, through the pain you try to forget. Your shadow is not here to destroy you. It's here to save you. It's here to show you the truth you have avoided, to reveal the places in your life where you are blocked, trapped, energetically stagnant. You are not stuck because life is cruel or unfair. You are stuck because you have ignored the parts of yourself that are crying out for release. And until you face them, the cycle of suffering will continue. Imagine standing on the edge of the ocean, watching the waves crash endlessly against the shore. There is no escape from their rhythm, no pause in their motion. And yet, you do not fear them. You do not see the ocean as your enemy. Instead, you marvel at its power, its beauty, its depth. Why then do you fear the tides within yourself? Why do you resist the currents that rise and fall in your own soul? Your shadow is like the ocean, vast, deep, and powerful. It carries the weight of all your unspoken truths, your buried pain, your hidden desires. And like the ocean, it cannot be controlled or silenced. The more you resist it, the more it will rise, crashing into your life in ways you cannot ignore. The toxic relationships you can't escape, the self-doubt that paralyzes you, the anger that erupts without warning. These are not coincidences. They are the waves of your shadow, breaking against the shores of your soul, demanding to be seen. To ignore your shadow is to ignore yourself. It is to reject the parts of you that are wounded, vulnerable, and in need of healing. And in that rejection, you perpetuate the cycle of your suffering. You repeat the same patterns, make the same choices, feel the same pain. You wonder why life feels stagnant, why you feel lost, but the answer is right there, in the shadow you refuse to face. The ocean teaches us that there is beauty in surrender. When you stop fighting the waves and allow yourself to float, you find peace. You find clarity. The same is true of your shadow. It is not here to drown you. It is here to carry you, to guide you to the depths of your being where true transformation begins. Every wave that crashes on the shore is a reminder that life is not static. It is movement, change, evolution. The places where you feel blocked, where you feel pain, are not meant to punish you. They are meant to awaken you. They are signs from your shadow, calling you to pay attention, to listen, to feel. You cannot outrun your shadow, just as you cannot outrun the tide. But you can learn to stand in its presence. You can learn to see it not as a threat, but as a teacher. To do so requires courage. The courage to stop running, to stop numbing, to turn inward and face the parts of yourself you've been taught to fear. But in that act of courage, you will find freedom. You will find yourself. The ocean's waves do not cease, and neither will the call of your shadow. But if you choose to listen, to surrender, you will discover that beneath the surface lies something extraordinary, the truth of who you are. And in that truth, you will find the strength to rise, to break the cycle, to transform. Your shadow is not your doom. It is your awakening.